Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Pokey's Corner. First day back from the office. Just going to do a couple of hours, 3 days this week, just to get out of that prison cell I were in. Told you I'd hit the wall, didn't I? Today I'm joined by my good friend Kent, who has got his War Chisora hat on and his Wildcard Boxing t-shirt. Do you wear them to work, Ken?
No, I don't. I just wear them for special occasions.
Okay. Let me just take this off because eating's a bit hot in here now. It's been coming out cold. 2 secs. Have you got jotted down what we're going to talk about? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, give me 2 minutes. That's a bit better. We know a song about that, don't we? Headphones. Right then. What's been happening, Kent, in the sport of boxing besides the Porkster making his return? What's been happening?
On contracts.
What?
On contracts.
Yeah.
What's not been happening this weekend, boxing wise, Russell? It's been a really good weekend for boxing. I'm going to start stateside first. I'm going to start with Demetrius Andrade and Jason Quigley. What do you think of that, Russell?
Well, Jason Quigley shouldn't have been in with him, should it?
No.
Oh, was Jason Quigley's best win? No.
His best win was against Shane Mosley's son, and he's a C-level fighter, to be quite honest. A C-level fighter.
Yeah.
And it was like it was a tight fight. It was a really, really tight fight. You know, Shane Mosley's son has come off the Contender Series. So he had a really, really high profile. And he's Shane Mosley's son. So that's not really a prerequisite to get into a world title fight, to be quite honest. It wasn't really a really big world title fight, but what it did was it just Andrade just showed. Did he sell himself or did he do himself value? He looked that good.
Andrade, Quigley made Andrade look like Julian Jackson, didn't he?
He did. He definitely did.
So I haven't really got much time for Andrade because he's been hovering about for a big payday for a long time now. But he's gone the Billy Joe route. They're just doing enough to keep the belt, aren't they?
He's just getting consistent revenue coming in on defenses, and they've been crying out for fights. He has got an absolutely terrible style, to be quite honest with you. He can punch, he can box, he's just so awkward at times. So they know they're not going to get a big marquee fight, so they're not. So it's just as you say, it's just keeping in those voluntary defenses, regular defenses, mandatory defenses, and just keep the money coming in, because really, who in that division is going to want to fight him?
I know, yeah. I know.
You know, it actually makes Liam Williams's defeat look a lot better than that was. You know, it actually makes Liam Williams look better that win at the weekend.
They've made Liam Williams look like the G-man Gerald McClellan, haven't they?
They have. His stock's actually risen from that fight at the weekend, and it just goes to show you even the difference in level between even Liam Williams and Jason Quigley. So it does, you know. Andrade smashed him to pieces in 2 rounds, and there was phases in that fight where Williams was actually catching Andrade and trying to make a fight of it.
Yeah.
So that's his stock went up a level. And to be quite honest, Neil, we've been hearing Eubank calling out Triple G and calling out Colano and calling out everybody, but you don't hear him calling out Demetrius Andrade, do you?
Not really, no. I don't hear anybody calling out Andrade. He's a stinking 8 of Mark IV.
What did you think about Andy Lee not being there for Jason Quigley?
Well, Andy Lee's going to protect his slice of the pie off the big money, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. It's like, it just looks to me like a Darren Barker Mark II, doesn't it? You know, doesn't want to be involved in the smaller fights, but when it comes to the bigger fights, just wants to be involved for the bigger purse. But surely that's not good for the fighter, really, is it?
No, it isn't. Do you know what I'm getting a bit fed up of in the sport of boxing? People getting on through association. Like Andy Lee's got in with Parker because Fury's been in Parker's hero. So you need to Andy Lee on blah blah rate trainer. Just because he was trained by Emmanuel Stewart, it don't mean to say he's a great trainer, does it? You know, I'm getting a bit fed up of that. Just because Conor Ben's Nigel Ben's son, it don't mean to say that he's a roadman, does it? Do you know what I've seen a Porter at weekend? He would roast Conor Ben inside 6 rounds. He would roast him. So people getting on through association is killing the sport. Would that happen in football? Hey, so-and-so's mate. Now, it happens in punditry, but it shouldn't happen with managers and coaches, should it? It probably does. I don't know, but Andy Lee, what is Andy Lee's body of work? I'm not having a go at him because he talks a good game on TV. What's his body of work? What? Oh, you can't even tell me, and you're an Irishman. You can't tell me his body of work as a trainer, can you, Ken? You're the hardcore.
He's got a good lad there who's turned over pro. I forget his name. He's 5-0 at the minute.
Right, let me stop you there. 5-0. He's got another 5 fights, and we're still calling him a novice, aren't we?
Yeah.
That don't mean no. I could tell you 50 kids from round here. They got to 10-0. They couldn't punched away for a wet paper bag. Once they stepped it up, they ended up on Skid Row selling drugs. So 5-0s, I don't want to hear. What's his body of work besides being connected to Emmanuel Stewart and saying he's Tyson Fury's cousin? But that's up for debate. So what's his body of work? He ain't got none, has he?
You know, what's your opinion? And you know, the last fight we had Parker and Chisora dropped him in 30 seconds. And what we've been hearing all week on social media was Joseph Parker doing the Kronk style. When was the last time you seen a Kronk fighter get dropped 30 seconds into a fight?
I don't know. Listen, mate. You know all this Kronk style? It's all knackers. You either got it in you or you haven't. Lennox Lewis trained out there, but he never had a Kronk style. I could tell you 20 fighters who did. Kronk style. What is this? All this Kronk style, Ingle style. They're talking shit. It's one-liners to sell fight. Shit talkers. Shit talk. You've just seen the Ingle style up there, haven't you, Kid Galahad? What's his body of work? What's his body of work? What? Yazzie Dickens twice and got beat by Warrington in Leeds, stunk place out. That's his body of work. But we're told he's a surgeon, aren't we? What? Oh, he trains at gym all day. You can't get him out at gym. For the amount of time he's been in that gym, he can't sell the ticket. Ingle style. Like as I said to you, you've just seen Ingle style, haven't you? You saw it with Bomber Graham, didn't we? Stinking arenas out, couldn't sell a ticket. Got put to kip God knows how many times. Is that the Ingle style? Is it? What is it? What's Galahad's body of work? He'll never get another world title shot again, I don't think, unless he digs his heels in. So I'm sick of all these people connecting themselves to certain people and he's a mate of so-and-so's and so-and-so's. He's a roadman. He's got this certain style. Load of shit. The proof is in the pudding. Joseph Parker stinks arenas out for a job on side. That's what he does, mate. He only gets slots because he's got New Zealand behind him and they have that pay-per-view over there. That's why he gets chances. If he weren't from New Zealand, they'd be on Skid Row. Skid fucking Row, mate. All these fucking people, they start fucking around with boxing and all hell breaks loose. It's utter bullshit. Sorry about that, but I'm not a Joseph Parker fan. I always feel let down when I see him fight. He's always going to do this or going to do that. I want to see some fucking action. That from Joseph Parker. And if he stinks the arena out against Chisora again, what's happened to it fucking Kronk style? What are they going to say then? Oh, bad day at office, so he couldn't get going. Or bloody law, or Derek's still got a bit left in tank. Load of shit. The proof will be in the pudding. That's what I think anyway. What do you think, Ken?
I think it all comes from education. I think it all comes down to.
Wound up now.
I think it all comes down to education and what you grew up watching and what you actually know about boxing. You know, it all comes down to knowing the sport. And I always find that all these outlets that are on these social media platforms that don't actually know anything about boxing, they'll just say something to get clickbait, or they'll just say something that they think is right that is totally wrong. And I seen that in the last Joseph Parker fight. You know, I've never seen a proper Kronk fighter stepping back, pulling shots, fencing, and being dropped after 30 seconds. So I think it's all down to people in boxing that actually don't really know anything about boxing.
Do you remember Gerald McClellan, this Kronk style and all this, and all that about turning eating up and all that, because they were the first ones to do that. So does everybody copy that now? If you're training hard enough, you don't need eating up. It's going to make you sound bad turning eating up. That's what I do off certain trainers. But this is how I look at it, right? You remember the G-Man, don't you, Gerald McClellan?
Yeah.
Right? He had this Kronk style and he was a roadman killer. Fair enough. Once Nigel Benn started putting it on him, he went on back foot, didn't he?
To be honest, Russell, I don't think that Gerald McClellan was the same fighter after the Julian Jackson fight. I think that was the fight that he took a lot of damage in, not a lot of damage in that fight. You know, Julian Jackson was an absolute monster puncher, probably one of the biggest punchers in boxing ever. And I don't think he was ever the same after that fight with Jackson. Then obviously he stepped up. You know, he couldn't obviously make middleweight anymore, and they stepped up and they fought Nigel Benn. But to be quite honest, I think the kind of the wear and tear was there. You know, let's remember they sparred very, very hard in that gym. Like, there was no easy sparring in the Kronk at the time. So I think there was a lot of wear and tear from all them years of sparring and Julian Jackson. And you're right, like, I remember watching that fight and it was absolutely terrifying watching the build up to it. Like, McClellan looked like an absolute he was a monster, and not one of the British press give Ben any hope.
I think it was one.
And like, even Barry McGuigan on the, I actually watched it a couple of weeks ago. Barry McGuigan on the fight build up said that McClellan would walk right through him in 3 rounds.
Well, McClellan gained on scales at 165 didn't do him any good because he weren't a proper super middle, was he? You know what I mean? He got on scales at 165.
Yeah, and Nigel at that time was away training.
You what?
Nigel was away at that stage training in Tenerife, and he was training and running up and down. There was a lot of footage of him running up and down Mount Tidy and Kevin Saunders was training him at that time, and they ran a real tight ship. And I think if it hadn't have been for training at the altitude and training away and with no distractions in London, it would have been really hard for him to win that fight, especially against McClellan at that time, who was just. I don't even think Roy Jones wanted to fight Jarrett McClellan at that time.
McClellan beat Roy Jones twice in amateurs.
Amateurs, yep.
Yeah, interesting. Not only because Roy Jones went on to, well, technically, Olympic champion money, technically.
Yeah.
Got best voted best boxer at Olympics, but the game of silver, didn't they? Yeah, so that covers Joseph Parker, aka the Stinkinator. I mean, yeah, stinky fuckers. I ain't got time. I won't be watching that. Chisora shot to pieces. Parker Stinkinator. I mean, who wants to watch that shit? Eh?
There's more meaningful domestic fights out there that you would actually want to watch other than that. Like, I think the only reason that the fight's probably happening is that Parker probably signed a pre-fight deal that he, to have that fight in the first place, he had X amount of fights after it. So it makes his interest, the better interest, to sign that for that fight. So there's no other reason why you would want to stage that fight again, because obviously it was probably one of the worst heavyweight fights I've seen the last 10 years. It was awful.
You won't want to watch it again, would you?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Right. Okay, then. Let's move on from that to Crawford. Porter.
Would you? Unbelievable, Russell. I have to say this year, you always talk about, yeah, that was a good fight. This was a good fight. But that was probably one of the most skilled fights that I've seen this year. It was absolutely brilliant fight. Brilliant. It was fight of the year. Technically, probably the most technical fight of the year, in my opinion.
I bet you were horny watching it, weren't you, Kent?
I watched it twice, and I watched it. I scored it the first time. Then the second time, I just sat and enjoyed it. It was absolutely brilliant fight. I have to say, to be honest with you, even though Porter lost the fight, I actually think it was the best performance of Sean Porter's career, to be quite honest.
Okay, so Crawford's still in top 5 pound for pound, isn't he? Easily.
Yep, easy.
Right. Does Crawford beat Conor Benn? Yes or no?
2 rounds.
Does Porter beat Conor Benn?
2 rounds.
Right. Okay. Well, that's that sort of. So all this Conor Benn's a superstar that Eddie Hearn's pushing. It's just propaganda, isn't it? Just rubbish.
No chance that there's absolutely no chance of any of them welterweights, UK welterweights, beat Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, he's like a hybrid boxer. That's high a kid. He's like a cyborg. He is just like a computer. He can do anything in there. He can punch, he can box, he can fight inside, he can counter. What can't Terence Crawford do?
He can do everything, so we have to give him credit. It's pound for pound. Right, I'm not interested in all the rest of that card. It was shit, but there was one fight that we need to talk about. Isaac Dogbo, what do you think to him?
I like him because I think he's been frozen out by the UK boxing promoters. He is London. He was brought up in London. He went through all the ABAs in England, and just because he didn't choose to represent GB in the Olympics, I think he's been frozen out. And I think it's really bad, to be honest. I think he's a really good fighter.
Yeah. Okay. Let's put that aside now. Let's move on to Dan Aziz and I forgot the kid's name who we thought now. Jose Burton. What do you think? Think Jose Burton might be tight at weight?
He's 6'3", Russell.
6'4".
6'4". Well, he's really, really, really tall at that weight. I don't know. I don't think there's any apart from Shaq Peters. I think Shaq Peters is 6'6". You take Shaq Peters out of the equation there, and there's not very many light heavyweights, around that height. So I just think he looked a bit tight at the weight. It looked like, obviously he's 30, he's in his 30s now, and if you're just trying to make that weight all the time, every time you try and make that weight, I suppose it takes something out of you, but I think if he could go up to cruiserweight, he could pack on 10, 12 pound, no problem, and go up to cruiserweight and be a lot fresher and a lot stronger. But Dan Aziz looked really, really good, to be honest. He looked very, very powerful. That's Terry's boy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Terry's boy, Dan Aziz, and Martin Theobald, is it? They love him, don't they? Rico and all them boys. They're Dan Aziz fanboys. But he can fight, can't he? Dan Aziz.
Yeah. He's come up the hard way now. He's won English and now he's won British. Brilliant performance. Really, really strong. Really, really. He's one of them fighters, Russell, that he's got that type of shape. He's really, really solid, but he's actually got good cardio. I thought he maybe would have struggled later on, cardio wise, because he's so solid. But he's just got a fantastic engine. He's another problem at light heavyweight. Many top class light heavyweights now have got in the UK that aren't fighting each other. It's a real stacked division, the light heavyweight division.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we need a Super 8, don't we? In UK, we need 8 light heavyweights to get at it. Forget having a belt. Just invent a belt or a trophy or something, or a check. Just put a check there, a big check for them all, and let them all knock lumps out of each other, and let's see what best is. That's what I want to see. I want to see action. I don't want to see lip service paid to fans no more, because I'm really up to here now. It's the only thing that I've ever had to go at in my life, and I just think it's so disorganised. Every week with Premier League, you get your fix every week, don't you? We don't get it every week with boxing, do we? It's every other 10 week, isn't it? You can write on one hand how many fights that you look forward to in a year, and it's starting to annoy me. I don't know what you.
Yeah. Thinking. It is a brilliant division. Like, it really, really is a good. The only problem is with the division, you've got probably at the higher end, the top 4. You've got Callum Johnson, you've got Callum Smith. They are looking a world title fight. They're not going to go back down domestic level. There's no chance of it. It looks like Callum Johnson is going to fight Joe Smith Jr. in America. Then you've got obviously the person in the whole lot who's been calling on everybody the most is Joshua Buatsi. He hasn't fought anybody of note, and he seems to be in the crisp of a world title fight. Then you've got Lyndon Arthur, and you've got Anthony Yard. They're having a rematch. Then you've got the likes of Shaq Peters, he looks like he's gone down the WBC route. So he is, because he's WBC international. He's on Mick. Then you've got the likes of Dan Aziz now, who's come up and he's British champion. So it's just a brilliant division. It is a brilliant division, but it would be brilliant if they all fought each other. But I can't see that. I really can't see that.
The people around them all are not going to let it happen, are they? I'm going to say, I'm more commercial than you. I've got a belt, you ain't got a belt. I've got a better ranking, you ain't got a ranking. And we're going to hear all that shite from every one of the managers and trainers. Shite. Get at it, all of you. Get at it. Life's passing you by. Get at it, or I'll continue to rinse you all. Still want rinsing, don't you? You know these managers. Every one of you managers, right, out there, listen to me, Big P. Get your fighters put in fights. Stop panning the records out. It's shite. You're killing the sport. They're killing it. They're killing the sports down there. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? I've just been looking at certain promoters' shows that are lined up around here and up and down the country for the next few months. There's kids in there that have got no bollocks. They've got no bollocks. Speak to matchmakers all the time. So and so and so and so has turned this fight down. So who's he fighting now? And then they tell me, and I'm like, what? The fuck are some of these boxers going, mate? They fucking need to grow a pair. And they need to get rid of the managers. Get rid of your fucking managers and your trainers. Get rid of them. Send them down the road. They're thinking that all they want to do is pimp these kids out. It needs a complete overhaul. That's why I put that contract up on here. But them jokers sent me. Can you imagine some of the contracts that they're handing out to people, or they've handed out in years? Speedham were a promoter, wasn't he? Ajayi, he owns that stamina or whatever. Looking load of shit. Load of shit. Shit talkers. The feather in the nest. You don't give two fucks about fighters. You know, government needs to step in. So we need government needs to step in and say, here, that's wrong. That's right. Do it that way or fuck off. That's what needs to happen to save this great sport. Otherwise, everybody's just going to ride roughshod over it all. And we're going to be like fucking communists. So that's where we're going, mate.
Yeah, the only thing about that, Russell, is the government can't even run the country, never mind run boxing. But
let me just say something here. Let me just say something. My dad brings me in in the morning because he's not letting me drive early, but went by a petrol station today, 163.9. Let me just say, but that's for super diesel, 153.8 for normal. Boris Johnson, yeah, you fucking shit house. I hope you're watching, probably in. He said, vote Conservative, I'm going to make it £1. Am I right? £1 a litre. We're fucking pushing towards £2. Shit talkers paying lip service for votes, and this is what we're being promised in boxing. Look at Eddie Hearn when he got in with DAZN. He went to America. He was saying to everybody, sign with me or you're going to go nowhere. Everybody said it till all went on to win world titles or defend world titles, and now he's on outside looking in, isn't he, in America? Hearn paying lip service on platforms. Shit talkers. Sorry, but it's my first day back. I've got to let it.
I think the problem with what happened with Eddie when he went to America, he had all this money, and he just overpaid everybody.
Yeah, but he overpaid himself though as well because he was taking 20%, wasn't he?
Overpaid everyone, and he was getting 20%, and everybody was rushing the same with Eddie. And what happened there was that everybody in the UK wanted to box in America and we're getting big dough. Then the whole heavyweight thing, you know, when DAZN come out, you look what Bob Arum done, you know, he panic signed Tyson Fury, be a 5-fight deal. And the reason they did that was because they panicked and they were afraid of DAZN signing Fury. So they done a lot of money on signing Fury to that 5-fight deal that overinflated, you know, purses. So they done their conkers on that deal as well. And so did everybody, you know, all the other networks like ESPN, PBC, they were just following the trend because the fighters were saying, no, we can go to DAZN and get this. So it kind of inflated the whole boxing market. And now it's starting to crash. And now we're seeing the demise of boxing. You know, boxing now is in a recession, so to speak, because of that type of business.
Look at Broner. He stood firm though when Jay-Z came calling, offered him 40 million. He stood with Al Heyman. Now look at him. He's ended up on Skiddy Row, leaving skid marks all over the place. Big old belly on him, fat as a pig Michelin man. Big old terrorist beard on him. He looks fucked, doesn't he, Broner?
Yeah, it's just Bruner's been kind of his own worst enemy for years, to be
He's
quite honest.
made a pig of himself, hasn't he? Fat as a pig Michelin man. He's got 9 women pregnant. They've all had kids to him. They've all let him for child maintenance. He's had everything he could get his hands on. Made a pig of himself. Everything in moderation, Adrian. So I looked at it anyway. So, Kent, what else do you want to talk about?
What did you think of the overall Sky Show at the weekend? What did you think? What's going on with Florian Marku? You know, appearing now at Florian Marku.
Florian Marku. I think he's a knob.
What do you think of him appearing on the Sky Show at the weekend?
I don't know, but all that calling Conor Bennett punched him upside down. I think so anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of was unsure about him, and to be quite honest, but I seen that fight at the weekend, and I said to myself, well, McKinson would beat him easy. Crockett would beat him easy. Conor Benn would beat him easy. I don't think he beats any of those guys, to be quite honest. I don't understand style-wise what he's trying to do. You know, he's moving and switching feet and doing these stupid flicking shots. I think.
Who's his manager? Who's his manager?
Is it not Sam Jones?
Sam Jones. So Sam Jones, basically, he's in bed with everybody, and he's got all the pricks like this. He's doing that in his mouth. Sam Jones, you're a prick. Come see me.
It just looks like, and the thing about it was that it was actually put on after the main event. It was actually put on after Richard Riakporhe, so it was kind of like an unofficial main event. And we've been talking about this for a week. So Sheffield last week sold 0 tickets. It was disaster. The show the night.
Ken, let me just stop you there. When we speak about Sheffield, we have to speak about the tickets sold. 2,550. 50 tickets over 2,500. Eddie said 3,500. And you know that Gimp from Gimpville Island, that Eddie, who's got a job on the zone, he's still got his YouTube channel and he's come out on it and said, yeah, it looks about 6,000 there. Pull your tongue out, Eddie Earn's arsehole lady. I know a girl who works there. 2,550 people. But Eddie Earn was saying 3,500 because he's a fucking lying bastard, isn't he? So what are you coming out with 6,000 tickets for, shithouse? Get your tongue out, DAZN's arsehole. 2,500, kid. Go on, fucking my head's gone here. All right, Ken, go on, let it.
I've actually been to a boxing show myself outside of being at an event to be paid to be there, and there was definitely not 6,000 people there. That's just
6,000.
That's just complete nonsense. And if there was 6,000 people there, the whole arena wouldn't have been blacked out and black and blue. So
shut it off, mate.
There definitely wasn't 6,000 there. And the Friday night before that, there was a show at New York Hall. There was absolutely no one at that show. Like, no one. I've never seen the York Hall as empty in all my years of watching boxing. Then at the weekend, we had Florian Marku on at the end of the show, and he looked like he was the only one that brought support. He looked like he was the only one that bought tickets. is anybody in the UK now actually going to watch boxing anymore?
Let me just say this to you. Do you know when you go to some shows, right? What they do at end, they usually have a fight on the end when everybody's going home and it's not on telly. You know them sort of fights.
Yeah, yeah.
When Galahad, right, got in that ring with him who was just icing the Spanish kid Martinez, everybody were leaving the arena and people were saying to me it reminded them of when they used to put a couple of kids in the end, don't they? A couple of 10, 12-year-olds and let them have a feel about it in ring, and you know, just a bit body sparring or a, you know, a move around or something like that. People were saying it reminded them of that because everybody left the arena once Terry Harper fought. Do you know what I mean? So Eddie would have been sat there thinking, what the hell? Would have had a squeaky bum time. His bum would have been squeaking more than when he told IFL that he'd seen Eric Molina on pads and he had a little bit of a squeak going on down there. Yeah, fucking hell, Eric Molina, I'll fucking knock him out myself. So, now, listen, mate, boxing is on Skid Row and everything's come home to roost. And everything I've been saying for 4 years happened. It's happened. We had the peak time, didn't we, Frocht, and then Joshua coming through, then Vladimir. Since then, it's been about money. Joshua can't tell me he loves UK fighters after beating Povetkin to then go fight in America with Ruiz and then fight in Saudi. You don't love UK. You love money. They don't love fucking boxing fans. They don't give a fuck about boxing fans. We're shit on the end of his shoe. And you know when you walk shit into somebody's house, you have to get rid of it. You know why? Because it fucking leaves stains. We're the shit on the end of fucking Eddie Hearn's shoe. That's what we are, boxing fans. The shit. And we get abused. That's just how I feel, man. I'm just fucked off with it.
If Anthony Joshua really loved boxing and loved the British fans, he would step aside and he would let Fury fight Usyk, and he would actually stop putting Campbell Hatton on undercards of his shows and prime time.
Don't even get me started about him. Fucking hell, fire. Campbell Hatton. He's a disaster waiting to happen. His family should be, Hatton family should be ashamed of themselves. Wheeling him out. He's going to get hurt him. He'll get hurt him. He'll get hurt him.
Ricky Hatton's on talking and giving his opinion and all other fighters and this and that. Well, he wants to flip and go and look what he's doing. You know, that lad should not be, you know, I feel sorry for him because it's not his fault. He should be built up on the small hall scene up around Manchester, getting a bit of a foul and learning his trade. But he's on pay-per-view and prime time hours. So
listen, it's about Joshua, money. It's about fucking money. The kid can't fight for toffee.
If Joshua loved boxing so much, he would actually structure his shows a lot better. That last show was absolutely atrocious, to be quite honest. It was I didn't even pay for it. Pay for a few ways.
Joshua, you're talking Joshua structuring. What the fuck? He was an ex-fucking drug dealer, aren't we? He surrounded himself with arseholes who were all on dole. And he's got Lawrence Okoli and Boazzi as his signings. Who the fucking hell wants to watch Boazzi? Boazzi could walk down here now and everybody would think you were going to burgle factory. There's been geezer out there, man, robbers. Nobody fucking knows who he is. Do you know what I mean? You won't pay to watch it Coley, would you? And Campbell Hatton's shite. Is that his fucking stable? And he's going around looking for other fucking trainers, rubbing McCracken's nose in it. The fuck's he think he is, man? Can't wait while Tyson Fury punches his head in. Can't wait.
What do you think about the whole trainer situation, Russell? Do you think McCracken will just turn around and say, "No, you know what? I'm sick of all this. I'm sick of, like, you've got two other coaches here and you've got me. So it's time to actually just pick what you want to do and move on," because that whole situation up there just doesn't seem to be working, to be quite honest.
I think that it's a bit late in the day to turn Joshua into Pernell Whitaker, isn't it? Bit late in the day. Joshua's got this far on basically looking how he looks, he's got a bit of heart on it and a straight 1-2 and an uppercut. He hasn't really got much else in his locker. So why not make the most of what you've got, enhance that, and go flying out at Usyk like a fucking madman, windmilling like a bitch, because it's his only chance, isn't it? Get stuck in instead of trying to be technical with a technical fighter. You don't hook with a hooker and you don't get technical with a technical fighter, do you? So what the fuck are they talking about? Who's in his head? How many trainers is there? I've heard there's 4 in his ear hole. I mean, there's 4 people in his ear hole, probably up his arsehole. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. But I don't be too fucks about Joshua. Anyway, I hope he ends up at food banks. I hope he ends up on Skid Row. I don't like him. He's a prick. I don't like him. You're not my cup of tea. He's a bully.
I can't see that happening, Russell, with that 800, 900 million he's got in the bank.
He ain't got fucking, he ain't got 800, 900. It's a load of fucking bollocks. Stop listening to fucking sporting icons. Listen, Joshua probably got about 200 mil net. Good luck to him, but yeah, probably might not end up on Skid Row, but I hope he does. If he does, I'll be laughing. If he don't, who cares? I don't get too fucks about him. I don't give him a second fucking thought unless I have to speak about him on here. He's a prick. I don't like him, mate. He's controlled by money and he's a manufactured fucking fraud. He's probably the biggest fraud to hit these shows ever after Tony Bellew.
So Russell, so what do you think of the whole WBO thing and WBC thing? You know, at the minute, we've got Joe Joyce. What's going on with his career, Russell?
First of all, right, Joe Joyce, it's pretty simple, really, isn't it? Joe Joyce's man in his ear hole and up his arsehole, Sam Jones. And he wants to do what everybody else is telling him to do, doesn't he? Promoters, and he's trying to keep everybody sweet and all that. Instead of firing off fucking legal letters, do you remember a few years ago when I said on here, Dylan White, stop bitching about the WBC and serve papers on them. Well, it's a little bit late in the day now, isn't it? Well, Sam Jones needs to start serving papers on people. Forget trying to be mates with Frank and Eddie. And can you imagine a conversation? Yeah, we're just going to do this with Joe. Can you bear with us, Sam? And we'll put some of your other kids on shows. That's how it works. It shouldn't fucking be like that. Could you imagine FA saying to Man United, yeah, don't play them this week and we'll do this for you down the line. Just play them this week. And yeah, you don't have to play in the FA Cup this year, but you can play in it next year. What the fuck? Joe Joyce is getting an old man. If Joe Joyce gets beat when he does get his title shot, he can then come out and say, well, the party took too long. And whose fucking fault is that? Sam Jones, isn't it? He should be going out to bat for his man. Go see a legal fucking person and fire a legal letter off. If you're mandatory, you want your shot, don't you? I think a step aside might have happened, but I don't know. I know Usyk had step aside because Shane McGuigan said it, didn't he, in an interview? So I don't know, but Joe Joyce could be the best out of everybody.
Yeah.
He couldn't he? The juggernaut, but he's not being given the opportunity. He's like the Louis Ortiz, isn't he, a few years ago? He's a bogeyman, isn't he? He's like Ergovic. People see it and they think, we don't want that smoke. Am I right?
Yeah. Do you think he was right to re-sign with Frank Warren, Russell?
I don't know. Frank's boxing, isn't he? I don't know. You don't know what's on the table, but I'd stay free agent if I were a boxer. Me nowadays, I'd just go back to my business and train and be ready. I won't get tied up with anybody if I were a boxer or anybody who asked me for advice. I always say, don't sign me anyone. Be a free agent. Be ready and take the opportunity and work your way up rankings. Why be tied to them fuckers to pimp you out? Hey, they're not going to get in the ring, are they? Hey, it's been going on too long. Boxing needs a change, mate. It needs a change, Ken. It needs fucking full overhaul.
Russell, sorry, can I correct you on something there?
Well, then, yeah, you can correct me.
Eddie Hills was a 3-0 Iceman, 3 by way off. So
4-0 Iceman, 3 by way off. 75% KO ratio for Billericay.
Yeah.
75% Ken.
Big punching Eddie.
Big punching super heavyweight Eddie Hearn. But no footage though. Bit like John Fury, innit? 100 and odd fight. £100,000 a fight. Not one fucking bit of footage. Hey, my fiver watching me, 200 kilo deadlift, 2 kilo deadlifts with me Corey. 1 hour runs in the morning. Fucking load of shit. Shit talkers.
So,
I'm losing will to live.
Russell, it's really good to see you on a Monday morning being so relaxed and being so calm.
I know, yeah, let's have a look. Yeah, I thought it'd be weekend.
So, Dillian Whyte, now there's going to be an arbitration case with the WBC, and that looks like he's just made it even more impossible for himself to
yeah,
to
listen, Dillian Whyte's fucking full of shit, mate. Full of shit. Is look, Dillian Whyte's WBC situation. This is how I look at it, right? Dillian Whyte's the boy who cried wolf, isn't he? He's the boy that cried wolf, and then when he really wanted to fight, nobody fucking believed him anyway, did they? Do you know what I mean?
You know, he turned that money down at Wembley for Joshua. So, you know, he's already been offered that big opportunity, and then Joshua goes and gets knocked out. But they're actually saying now that an arbitration case like that, so they're saying that he's going to take the WBC to an arbitrary court that could actually make it even longer. So the longer that case goes on, you know, he won't fight for that WBC title until that arbitration case has went. Now that could be 2 years, it could be a year and a half.
He will, mate. He will. An offer will come, mate. Once you start eating away into your savings, mate, right? And you're thinking, well, but no coming in here, there's no plan. Fat as a pig Michelin man. Do you know what I mean? And all them hangers on round him, they're all going to want feeding. Offers will come in. He'll not go 2 years without fighting.
You know, it just seems to be that he only wanted that interim belt so he would get 40% of the purse split, or 45% or 40%. There's absolutely no way, Russell. If you were Tyson Fury, right, who's the #1 in the world, would you give Dillian Whyte 40% of purse splits?
No, if it's a mandatory, no. Won't do it.
Does Dillian Whyte deserve 40% of that purse?
No, but Dillian Whyte had an opportunity to fight Joshua at Wembley for 5 million on the downside and maybe up to 6-7 million on the upside. And his arsehole fell out. True. It's a true story. His arsehole fell out, mate. His arsehole fell out. So that's how I look at it.
I think you have to look at it from the champion's point of view. So if Fury apparently, you know, if he's getting, what do you think Fury's getting a fight?
I don't really fucking care. He's not giving me none of it, is he?
So say he's on 15-20 million in a fight. There's no way that you would want to have Dillian Whyte or any mandatory getting 40% of the split. I think you can see why. I'm not saying he doesn't want it, but it just doesn't make good business sense for the champion, you know, who has got all the. It's really, he's went to America. He's based himself out of America. He's got a big draw there. So, you know, is Dillian Whyte a big draw in America?
Nobody even knows who he is.
So you go. You know, it's.
Who's his best win in America? Fucking
Malcolm Tam.
Fucking hell. Do me a fucking favour, Ken. Malcolm Tam, what are you doing to me?
I think, you know, the whole thing when he went over and he spoke, he thought he was going to go over and been ticked by the hand. I don't even think Al Haymon spoke to him. I think Al Haymon sent out one of his secretaries or one of his workers to go out and speak to him. He didn't even speak to him. So that just goes to show, you know, the profile and Dillian Whyte in America. So I heard Fury saying he's going to fight in March, April time, regardless of who it is. So
Yeah.
I think the next person there on that list is Joe Joyce. I think that'll be the next fight for Tyson Fury.
Yeah, yeah, probably. But for Joe Joyce, Tyson Fury.
Yeah, Joe Joyce and Tyson Fury. I think they'll be next. I think the arbitration case has just put everything backwards, and it's actually an excuse now for Fury and the camp just to say, right, well, you're dealing with this arbitration case. We can just move on to the next thing. So it's not really good business or good business sense from White if he has taken the WBC to arbitration court.
Maybe it's a mess, isn't it? And the only people that are suffering from it, because White and Fury are millionaires, they don't care about us. The only people that are suffering are boxing fans and people at home. I mean, I know people now that are cancelling Sky and BT Sport. They're all getting them little thing, fire sticks and stuff. Because they're just fed up of it. And they've done it all themselves. This is on their watch. Frank's watch, Eddie Hearn's watch. So many big fights that they've done in 10 years. What they've done? 5 or 6 fights. What the fuck is all that about? Hey? 6 fights in 10 years. More than 10 years. What the fuck? Hey? Fucking Cold War. Fucking hell, it's iced over. They make the Bob Arum, Don King Cold War look tame, don't they?
It looks to be the only market that's actually putting on fights is the American market, PBC and Bob Arum.
Well, PBC putting great fights. And hey, listen, if they put Crawford, Errol Spence on, they're the top dogs, because that's the best fight in boxing for hardcores at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Possibly Josh Taylor stepping up and fighting Terence Crawford.
Maybe he should have a welterweight fight to ease into the weight first, do you think?
Yeah, because Crawford is so deceptive, even height ways, shape ways, natural welterweight. So yeah, I agree. But it seems to me that there was that whole thing at the weekend where Crawford openly said that he had finished his partnership with Bob Arum and Top Rank, and then Bob was turning around saying, well, it's all down to money, if he gets the right fight he will stay. So I can't see, is he going to go and stay with Bob? The longer he stays with Bob, it seems to be the Errol Spence fight. But will Errol Spence actually ever fight again? That's the question.
I don't know. But I will say this: it's Bob Arum can't have long left now, can he? He's 90, isn't
he? He's still force of nature, to be honest. He's still as sharp as they come. He's just formidable, to be honest.
Listen, mate, he's one of the biggest problems in boxing, Bob Arum. He's one of the biggest problems why fights don't happen. Look at Manny Pacquiao against Floyd Mayweather. It was 5 years too late, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Really late. Really, it was.
Everybody feels that, they have to let fights over marinate because they're always going to be there. A bit like Brooke Khan. Listen, who wants to see Brooke Khan? Do you? I fucking don't.
Don't care about it.
I didn't care about Manny Pacquiao Mayweather, because by the time Mayweather got Manny Pacquiao, he'd been beat another 3 times or something, and he was over ill and fought. He was over ill, wasn't he?
Yeah, we had that whole thing. I think the best time for Pacquiao and Mayweather to fight was after Pacquiao knocked out Ricky Hatton and after the Miguel Cotto fight. That was the best time for that fight to actually happen. I think that was Pacquiao's best chance of beating Mayweather at that stage.
Yep. What did you think to Matthew Macklin saying that Dan Aziz reminds him of Marvin Hagler, and then putting a tweet out backing it up?
Well, Don Aziz was wearing the Marvin Hagler shorts. You know, he had custom made Marvin Hagler shorts. You know, you can't compare anybody. And Don Aziz is a good fighter. He's come up well. He's had a few good wins, but I don't think anybody in boxing should be, you know, how could you even say that? Nah, I don't see that. To be quite, he's strong, he's compact, he moves forward, but how can you compare anybody in boxing with the great Marvin Hagler at the minute?
Listen, mate. When I was a kid, I had a pair of Patrick Keegan King. Right? He didn't mean to say I could play like Kevin Keegan, did it? You know what I mean? So Dan Aziz is not Marvin Hagler. And haven't Sky pundits learned anything from the Matchroom era when they were just putting stuff out like that, cringe fucking comments like that all the time? Haven't they learned anything? No, they fucking haven't, have they? They're still doing it again, trying to sell us lies and bullshit and lip service. Good luck to Dan Aziz. He looks a good prospect, but that's what he is. A prospect who's won a British title, maybe 3 or 4 fights too earlier than what he should. But he's not fucking Marvin Hagler. Get it in your heads. And Matthew Macklin, you should be embarrassed coming out with stuff like that. Fucking still doing it, aren't they? They're still pushing shit. Coming out with shit one-liners. A cacophony of noise! Rough, tough, rugged, durable, all action, compelling.
They're comparing that, and it's not fair on Dan Aziz because he's a prospect, as you say. He's won a British title a bit quicker than probably on paper.
Yeah.
And he's a brilliant domestic fighter. It's great to see, but it's unfair of Sky to actually liken someone to probably the greatest middleweight of all time, in my opinion. You know,
bad. It's bad, mate. It's
either Carlos Monzon or Marvin Hagler, or I wouldn't say Hopkins because you know Hopkins did unify the 4. He was the first 4 belt era champion, but he would never have beaten Marvin Hagler. Never.
No, it's bad, but gives me material, doesn't it? So if they want to keep chatting shit, I'll be there under that ice when it breaks.
What did you think of the whole show at the weekend, the presentation of it?
Load of shit.
And what respect, Russell?
I just thought Bean fucking needs to shut his mouth. They need to stop coming out with one-liners, and Bean needs to shut his mouth and let them fucking fight. I thought Natasha Jonas were brilliant. Bean, zip your mouth and let the fight get on. We don't want to hear about spiders' web tattoos and stamp collections. And camping out in Peak District. Let them fucking fight. And when a punch is thrown, say what punch it is. If you watch the fights from the 70s, Larry Holmes era, great era, and 80s, you know, all the middleweights and Duran Leonard, Hagler and all that, you don't hear fucking commentators like Beanie fucking coming out with fucking stuff like that. Bean, would have been, could have been, should have been, never been, baked bean, creepy bean, Beanie. Fucking Rumpelstiltskin, we're on to you, and that computer in. They fucking wind me up. I can't cope with them no more. I'm sick of hearing them go, he's game, he's durable. That means the shit and they're going to lose. Fucking same old shit. It's the same old shit from Matchroom. I thought from Sky when they had Matchroom. I thought it might have changed with them first couple of shows, but it hasn't, has it? They've slipped back, haven't they? They've slipped back into fucking bullshit mode. I don't know. What do you think, Ken?
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think there's times in fights that you just want to see the fighting, don't you? Really, and I think the commentator isn't there to hear themselves talk. The commentator is there to talk about the fight, not just talk in general. And I think that's where boxing media has been lost, even stateside. You know, at the weekend watching Porter and Crawford, you know,
Mhm.
they let the fight happen, and they spoke about spots in the fight, but they just didn't talk over it the whole time. It was actually far better commentary for stateside, and that's what was good about that's what's good about the whole Sky thing and ESPN. When the big fights are happening in America, it's actually the American network is actually commenting on it rather than the UK network. It's
Yeah.
far better.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Well, Ken, we're out of time. We've done an hour, more or less. I hope you're well.
I hope you calm down, Russell. You've been you've just been like you've been animated today, so you have. It's
Yeah, I fucking
so
have,
early in the
mate.
morning. You're straight back at it again. It's good to see you with that energy back.
I'm going to go for a 15-minute walk now, 7.5 minutes in that direction and 7.5 back, see how I feel. It's baby steps, isn't it? Baby
Yeah.
steps.
So when you come back, you could probably do what 150 key bench press for 10 reps.
Nah, not allowed to do anything till next year in that weight room. Steady, nice and steady, mate. It's nice and steady. No overexerting, because your core, it's responsible for anything. Any exercise you want to do, you're putting pressure on it, aren't you, on your abdomen? So
Absolutely.
I can't risk it, but I can do a bit of walking and it's about it, really. Not really much else to do, but I've come here today and I'll probably come on a couple of more days this week for just to do one video, just to get out of the house, mate. Just to get out of that fucking house, mate. Driving me insane, that bedroom. It's drove me mad. And just to get something done. Just to come here, sort all my mail out and whatnot, and get ready for when I do come back. Because we've got things lined up and I need to be right. I don't want to be coming here and moaning about my stomach every 2 minutes. I'm fucking sick of it now. But whatever. But listen, thanks for coming on, Ken. Were you going now for a run?
No, I'm going to take a day off today. I'm not gonna. I think I'm going to go down and just do a swim or something like that. Just do a bit of swimming.
Go on, Ken. You look like a mackerel.
64 lengths.
That's a mile, isn't it? 25 meters. That's a mile, isn't it? 64 lengths.
Yep.
Good man.
Do
I maybe should take swimming up.
It's great. It's great. It's really good training. It kind of falls into the aerobic because you're doing it over a longer period of time and your heart rate stays at a moderate, rate. Then your resistance training, because you're using core stability, you're kicking your legs, you're using your upper body, and there's all different strokes you can do. You can go on your back, your side. So it's great training. It's non-weight burn, so you're not hammering your body. It's non-weight burn. It's really, really good for your joints and good for your muscles. So I'm going to do a couple of swims a week just to break it up.
You've just given me an idea for the title, Kent.
Sink or swim.
Now, different strokes for different folks.
Brilliant.
Okay then, well listen, you take care, have a great day, and I will speak to you soon, young man.
Take care, Russell. All the best.
Peace out.